Hello friends, we are on lecture number 6 today. Lecture number 6, and we are discussing the amendment batch 3 of CA final SCM and P. I want you to be on page number 67, page 67 of your amendment batch 3 notes. Let's go through. Question 7. It's a question on special order decision from RTP. N2 company is the manufacturer and supplier of firefighting and safety equipment for industrial use and follows the international quality standards and uses the high grade raw material. It is a fast growing brand that protects millions of people across India. N2 has been offered a bid on a prospective export contract for 20,000 commercial fire extinguishers. Right, there's a bid, means there's an offer for export. This is an export offer, please remember, for commercial fire extinguishers with following specifications from USA buyer, and the delivery in terms of FOB, you know, it's free on board price. So you have to quote a FOB price, free on board. And the product is your 2-gallon cylinder holding 10 pounds of multi-purpose dry chemical at 380 PSI. That is a technical matter. We are not concerned. Now N2 is exporting first time. So you are exporting the goods for the first time. The price computation per fire extinguisher is as follows. The calculation is given for each extinguisher, that is for each unit. Let us go. The data is given to you in rupees. Direct material cost, one of the prime cost. Direct material cost has got circle part cost is 620, necking part 30, bottom part 50, fire extinguisher powder 590, heat process 50, nozzle 60, meter 20, pipe 50 and nitrogen 30. And the total in the outer column is 1500 is the material cost. Then labor is 2 hours at the rate of 40, that is 80 rupees is direct labor. Leakage testing cost is 50 rupees. Variable overheads including packing cost is 214. Export clearance charges on FOB term, because you have to load it on the ship free on board, so you have to do the export clearance. So export clearance charges are 36 and fixed overheads charged are 100. So total cost is 1980, total of everything. Add markup, means profit, 10% on total cost. So on 1980, 10% is 198, and the price, that is your sales price, is 2178 on FOB basis, right? 2178. And now you are converting it to USD to INR. So USD to INR ratio for conversion is 67. So 2178 rupees divided by 67, if you do, just do it on the calculator, my dear friends. 2178 divided by 67. You get it approximately 32.507 means 51. So price in USD is 32.51 approximately in US dollar. So after quotation of US dollar 32.51, the buyer is negotiating the price and ready to pay only USD 28.5. See, our quotation is 32.51. There is a counter offer from the buyer. Buyer is asking for a slightly lower price, 28.50. Required. Advise whether it is worth accepting at USD 28.50 considering other factors related to your export transactions. So there will be non-financial aspects also or other factors. And I think the question is over. Okay, so only question is this much. Advise whether it is worth accepting it at USD 28.50 considering other factors. Okay, so here we'll go to your relevant cost concept. Now we'll assume that you are already producing and selling it in India and first time you got the export offer, so you can be as competitive as you can. I think we can give the price on the basis of incremental cost approach. So in incremental cost, I think all are incremental or variable cost except this 100, except 100. So from total cost 1980, if we deduct 100, rest all seems to be variable. Just check. Rest all cost, direct material, direct labor, leakage testing, variable overheads, export clearance, all are variable. Only fixed overheads 100 I will deduct from 1980. So 1980 minus 100 is 1 1880 is our variable cost or incremental cost, or you can say relevant cost. If we divide it by 67 to convert it into dollar, just do it. 1880 incremental cost, 1880 divided by 67, you get it as 28.059. So let us say $28.06, $28.06. I think $28.06, and this is $28.50. So we'll still get some profit, right? Low profit, but that is profit per unit. That is how much? $28.5 minus your 28.06. So profit will be $0.44 per unit. Per unit into 20,000 units is the order size, I think. Check the order size above. Order size was for 20,000 fire extinguishers. So into 20,000, it is $8,800 is your incremental profit, ignoring fixed cost. In 8,800, and if you want to convert it into rupee into again 67, so if you do into 67, 5,89,600 is the incremental profit. So I think, assuming that our present fixed overheads are recovered from the domestic sales, you can go ahead with this order based on incremental approach, and then you can list other factors to support your answer, that is theory answer, which must be printed somewhere. So let us check. Yes, relevant cost 1880, then divided by 67, 28.06. Price offered by customer is this, per unit, number of extinguishers, this is. So yes, we should go ahead. Advice is given, and some other factors are also given, like statutory compliance, buyer credit worthiness, industry analysis. So this you can go through. This is what institute has given. You can write other factors of your own choice. So it was a simple one. Let's go ahead. Question number 8. We are discussing only the practical aspects. Question 8 is on life cycle costing. Okay. Molds and Dies M&D was established in 1980, and it has enormous wealth of experience in the mold manufacturing industry and serves wide range of plastic molds all over nation. Now, over the past decade, M&D has developed the reputation for quality products and services for customer focused approach. It deals in injection mold, blow molds, die sets, mold base, etc. Now, even if you don't understand this technical word, doesn't make any difference. We are not engineers. These are some type of molds. Now, with a state-of-the-art infrastructure facility, that is the modern facilities, M&D is able to meet the qualitative and quantitative demands of its clients. Its vision and mission is to provide high-class manufactured products by using best quality material. M&D has developed a new product, M, which is about to be launched into the market and anticipates to sell 80,000 of these units at a sales price of rupees 300 over the product life cycle of 4 years. Please remember, this 80,000 units you will sell not in 1 year but over 4 years, over the entire life cycle of the product. So life cycle of that product, new product M, is 4 years and selling price is 300. Data pertaining to product M are as follows. Data pertaining to M is given: cost of design and development of molds, dies and other tools is 8,25,000. This is one-time cost. This design and all this design and development cost is one time. You will incur only once before introduction of that product into the market. Then manufacturing cost is 125. This is per unit, please remember. Selling cost is 12,500 per year. Means that is fixed cost per year plus 100 per unit. Okay, be careful. Administration cost is given per year. Warranty expenses. Warranty expenses means if after selling the goods, if they are returned by the customer for some defect. So that is warranty expenses are 5 replacement parts per 25 units. So per 25 units sold, 5 units will come back for replacement of parts at rupees 10 per part. Okay. And one visit you have to give to customer per 500 units, and cost is rupees 500 per visit. Okay, one visit for every 500 units sold, that is how you have to interpret, and cost of each visit is 500 rupees. Now what is the question required? Compute the product M's life cycle cost. They want you to calculate the life cycle cost, means total cost over the lifetime of M, that is for 4 years cost you will have to calculate, and suggest 2 ways to minimize M's life cycle return. Okay, Note ignore time value of money. And then there is an answer. Okay. Time value of money means you don't have to do any discounting like FN. So time value of money is ignored. We can simply add 4 years data together without considering the value of time. Anyway, that is standard assumption in costing. So second question, two ways. This is theory part which you can read. Now we'll target on this one. Compute the product M's life cycle cost over the lifetime of the product. I think it's again a simple question. Just pick up the calculator, you'll get the answer here itself. Just check how. Let us take the data. This data you will take one time only. So 8,25,000 memory plus, only once. 8,25,000 memory plus. Then 125 per unit into 80,000 units memory plus. We'll do it on the calculator. I hope you are using it. 8,25,000 memory plus you have done. Then 125 per unit into 80,000 units you will sell over the lifetime. So that is memory plus. Then selling cost, you will first take 12,500 into 4 years. 12,500 per annum into 4 memory plus. And then you will take 100 into 80,000 units. 100 per unit into 80,000 units memory plus. Then administration cost is 50,000 per year. So 50,000 per year into 4 years. Into 4 years memory plus. Now we have to carefully take warranty expenses. On every 25 units sold, 5 will be replaced and 5 replacement parts, and per part you'll have to pay 10 rupees. Okay. Or it will cost you 10 rupees. So what you do? 80,000 units, type 80,000 divided by 25 units. Divided by 25 into 5 units. Into 5 units. Into 10 rupees. I hope you are doing it correctly. 80,000 divided by 25 units. Into 5 parts and into 10 per part. Memory plus. Done. And one more. One visit for every 500 parts, which will cost you 500 per visit. So 80,000 you will type 80,000 divided by 500. This will give you number of visits into rupees 500. So it will become again same, divided by 500 and multiplied by rupees 500. So again 80,000 memory plus. Recall memory will be your total life cycle cost. Recall memory will give you total life cycle cost. I think it must be here. Just check whether your calculated answer on calculator recall memory is this. 1,93,15,000. So it's a very simple question according to me. You have to just calculate the total cost for the lifetime of product M. That is for total 80,000 units. Rest is theory answer which you can read. So I'll go further. Question 9 is on CVP analysis. Okay, cost volume profit analysis. Let us discuss this. Right, I am discussing only the relevant part. Remaining you can read. Okay. Instead of me reading. Hotel Nikko, Zealand. Zealand must be the country. Instead of New Zealand, they have given Zealand. An affordable leisure hotel resort is an ideal retreat to escape, unwind and enjoy peace of mind. Set amid expansive tropical greenery in the enclave of Zealand, Hotel Nikko is designed for pleasure, where services reign supreme. An Italian-style architecture of its 25 classic rooms harmonize with nature. Hotel Nikko Zealand is a beachfront resort that features a good choice of swim-up pool bar, gym, and variety of restaurants. A wide array of water sport activities like surfing, sailing, jet skiing, etc. are available from beach operators at a walking distance. The hotel is synonymous with enjoyment and value for money, with a large choice of very attractive all-inclusive packages. I think this is all story, just to give you the feel of which company you are doing the calculation for. So I don't think that is very relevant. Nikko charges guest ZD. Okay, this might be Zealand dollar. ZD. ZD 2,700 per room per night. We call it as per room per day. Instead of per day, they are calling it as per night. So one room occupied for one day, that is, or one night, you are charging 2,700, irrespective of single or double occupancy. So whether there is a single guest or two guests in the room, doesn't matter. You charge it on per room basis, 2,700 per room per day. Variable cost is ZD 900 per occupied room per night. Naturally, cost is incurred only if the room is occupied, per occupied room per night. The Nico is available throughout 365 days in a year. The hotel is open for 365 days in a year and has a 75% budgeted occupancy rate. So the rooms are occupied only 75% of the occasions, means 25% it is empty when you won't get any revenue. So that is effective services 75%. Fixed costs are budgeted at Zealand dollar ZD 9 million. Fixed costs are budgeted at Zealand dollar 9 million and are incurred evenly during the year. That is a standard assumption that fixed cost is spread evenly throughout the year. Now during the second quarter, that is Q2, quarter 2, during the second quarter of the year, usually the room occupancy rates remain substantially below the levels expected at other quarters of the year. So it seems to be a slack season. Q2 is a low season as compared to other 3 quarters. Nico is expecting to sell 900 occupied room nights during quarter 2. So in quarter 2 you are expecting to sell only 900 room days. Management is considering strategy to improve profitability, including closing the Nico for the duration of Q2. Okay. So you are thinking about some strategy. One of the option is to close your hotel, Nico hotel, during quarter 2 because occupancy is very low, 900 only. Or there is one more option, or adopting one possible option as follows. There is one more option as follows. What is that option? There is a scope to extend the Nico by creating enough space to run rustic chic Italian style restaurant to serve the guests. Okay, you want to extend the hotel and you have the enough space to run a rustic chic Italian style restaurant in your hotel. The annual revenue, annual revenue, cost and sales volume for combined operations are given in the following graph. Okay, so this is the data given in a graph form. For combined operation, it means this data is for running hotel plus running a restaurant. So it's a combined data of hotel plus restaurant together is this given in the graph. Yeah, please check the graph very carefully. Check the graph carefully. I have placed it in front of you. Just go through it. This is a sales line, total cost line, fixed cost line. I think we had seen one graphical presentation of this type in the classroom, BP graph. On y-axis you have Zealand dollar in millions on y-axis. On x-axis you have number of occupied rooms. Okay. Now should we interpret this graph a little? It is the combined data of hotel plus restaurant. See, this intersection of sales and total cost line is the BP. So BP number of room days seems to be 5425. BP number of room days seems to be 5425. And they have given some dotted lines, margin of safety. It means combined sale, that is when you run the restaurant along with the hotel, it seems to be 7310 room days. And the difference between 7310 and 5425 is the margin of safety. Okay, in number of room days. Okay, this is the data on y-axis, x-axis. Now if you go to y-axis, your fixed cost is 12 million. Combined fixed cost. I think it is not tallying with the fixed cost. Some 8 million was given something, no? 9 million. See, 9 million was the fixed cost, but this was for running the hotel only. And this is the combined data. So fixed cost has gone up by 3 million. So 9 plus 3. 3 million might be for that restaurant, your Italian restaurant. It's a combined data. So 12 million is your fixed cost. And this total cost is 23.75 million, but this total cost is at this point, and this point is this one. This will be how much? Just check. So it is given in that graph form. each centimeter, like this is 1 centimeter distance, then this is 1 centimeter distance. So 2 centimeter gap is 1500. 2 centimeter gap is 1500 room days. It means 1 centimeter gap is 750 room days. Right? You will notice this 2 centimeter gap is 1500 room days. Okay, so from 750 up to this, we'll have to add 7500 plus 750. Okay, for 1 centimeter. So 7500 plus 750, okay, will be 8250 room days. Correct? This point. So at 8250 room days, the total cost is 23.75 ZD million, Zealand dollar million. Is that okay? Just understand this graph, right? There's a combined data of running Hotel Nikko plus that Rustic Chick restaurant. Should I go ahead? If you required, you can refer it from your printed notes. If this graph is required again. We have discussed the fixed cost, we have discussed break-even point, we have discussed margin of safety from the graph, and total cost is given to you at 8,250 room days, and total sales also we can calculate. The total sales which is on sales line is 30 million ZD. So 30 million ZD is the total sales when 8250 room days are occupied. How we got 8250s? 7500 is given here at this point, 7500 plus 1 centimeter distance is equal to 750 room days. Okay, that you have to understand from the graph, that 1 centimeter scale is equal to 750 room days. So 7500 plus 750 is 8250. So at 8250 we know total cost, we know total sales. This is the data. Okay, let's go ahead now. Okay, what is the question? Note Zealand's home currency is ZD. Okay, that is okay. Zealand's home currency is ZD, that is Zealand dollar. Required analyze the profit improvement plan. So this profit improvement plan which is given in the graph form for restaurant plus hotel together, that we have to analyze. And one more option was to close down close down your hotel for second quarter only. Okay, just check this question again. What was this? During second quarter, I am reading this paragraph. During second quarter, that is Q2 of the year, usually the room occupancy rate remains substantially below the levels. Nikko is expecting to sell only 900 occupied room days. Management is considering strategy to improve the profitability, including closing of Nikko for the duration of only Q2, or adopting this alternative of extending the hotel for restaurant also, Rustic Chick. Okay. So question is analyze the profit improvement plan, and then there is an answer. Okay, so this is the only question. You have to analyze the profit improvement plan. Let's see what answer is given. It is given in paragraph form. Okay. The present profit of Hotel Nikko. Okay. Total room days occupied, 25 rooms were given. Open, hotel is open for 365 days. 25 rooms into 365 days will get room days into 75% is occupancy. This is present, at present. Then after that restaurant it will change. So it is 3844 room days approximately. You can just calculate 25 rooms into 365 days into 75% occupancy. 25 into 365 into 0.75. It is a 6843.75. So round figure it is taken 6844 room days occupied. Now contribution, profit is contribution minus fixed cost. How you will get contribution? I think your sales price was 2700 ZD and variable cost was 900. You can just check. I think it is in the first paragraph. No. There it is. It is in the second, we had underlined it, second paragraph, right? On page 71, you will find that you are charging 2700 ZD and 900 is the variable cost. I hope you have got it in the second paragraph. On page 71, top paragraph. So this is contribution into 6844 room days minus 9 million. 9 million is 90 lakhs. Okay, please remember 9 million is 9 and then 6 zeros. I had explained this billion in the classroom if you remember. 3 zeros you have to take. 1000, million, billion, trillion, 3 zeros. So 9 million is actually 90 lakh. So your present profit is 33 lakh 19,200. Now present BEP. Okay, so present contribution is 2,700 minus 900 variable cost, so 1,800. So fixed cost 90 lakh, that is 9 million, divided by this contribution 1,800. Your present BEP is 5,000 room days. Now don't get surprised, you will say that this is not tallying with the graph. Graph is combined. That is after introduction of restaurant. So on graph the BEP was different. So it has to be different because that is a combined data. This is the present data. Now let's go ahead. If Nicco is shut down during quarter 2, what will happen? You will naturally lose certain contribution. Now during quarter 2, the 900 room days are expected to be occupied. So you lose the contribution again, this 2,700 minus 900, that is 1,800 is contribution per day. 1,800 into 900 will be 16,20,000 ZD. This is the contribution lost due to closure. Now Nicco should not close its hotel during quarter 2. The total fixed cost will still be incurred because your hotel is running, so total fixed cost will be incurred, and hotel closure would result in loss contribution of 16,25,000 Zealand dollar. This in turn would decrease the annual profit of the company by Zealand dollar 16,20,000. In addition, Nicco could lose guests at other quarters of the year, particularly their regular business customers who may perceive the Nicco as being non-reliable because you are closed for some of the time. So your other regular customers will get also affected. So your sales of other 3 quarters will also get affected. Therefore, you should not shut down. Now, proposal of opening an Italian restaurant. Yes. Now, this proposal was given to you in that graphical form. So, do you want to refer graph? Just open the page. So, I won't go back forth. I'll continue. Keep an eye on the graph also. From that graph, you'll get this data. Proposal of opening an Italian restaurant. Note for students, please read and interpret the graph carefully to find out the following data in it for analysis purpose. This note I have added naturally. Institute won't give you this note. I have added this note that whatever data is given below, they had told you to analyze the profit improvement plan. That is this plan. So closure plan won't improve the profit. That will decrease the profit by 16,20,000. But opening the restaurant, let us see what it will do. So from graph, this data is taken. So understanding of the graph is very important for this question. You should be able to read the graph. I'm going ahead. Opening a restaurant will increase the fixed cost of Nicco from ZD 9 million to 12 million. That we had already seen. Fixed cost line starts from $12 million. Thus, annual increment of Zealand dollar 3 million is expected in the fixed cost. So due to restaurant, your fixed cost will increase by 3 million per annum. Now this can be observed from the total cost line of the combined operation provided in the graph. Now average revenue, that is sales per occupied room, will rise from ZD 2700 to ZD 3636.36. Okay, how it is calculated? I think we had seen in the graph the total sales top line 30 million ZD at how many room days? 8250. Should I show it to you again? So I'll have to go back. Check this. I'm taking you back to the graph. See here. This sales 30 million dollar divided by this sales is at this corner point. Corner point will be 7,500 plus 750. That is 8250 room days. I hope you're getting it. So I don't have to go back to the graph again and again. You please refer the graph in your printed notes, because taking you to the graph will disturb this discussion. So I'm going ahead. Yeah. So 30 million dollar divided by 8250. 30 million means 30 and then 6 more zeros. You have to take on calculator. 30 and add 6 more zeros on the calculator. Then divide by 8,250. So you'll get 3636.36 average revenue. So average revenue has gone up from 2,700. 2,700 was only for giving the room on rent. And now room rent plus the restaurant will earn some revenue. So on an average it becomes 3,636.36 because of increasing guest expenditure on Italian restaurant. That is correct. We are just analyzing the data. The total cost predicted at a level of 8,250 occupied rooms is ZD 23.75 million. Total cost line you can check, dotted line. On the graph you will find 23.75 million. Which means the variable cost must be ZD 11.75 million. Now this variable cost is calculated total cost minus fixed cost. So from this total cost, deduct 12 million fixed cost, you'll get remaining variable cost. Variable cost is 11.75 million, right? 11.75 into, you can do 10 lakh to get it correct, right? Million is, you have 6 zeros ahead. So this amounts to variable cost per occupied room day as ZD1424.24. Now this ZD1424.24 is calculated. This 11.75 million variable cost divided by 8,250 occupied room days. Are you getting it? Take the zeros correctly, otherwise your answer will go wrong. Alright, 1 million is equal to 10 lakh. So 11.75 million divided by 8,250. Your calculator already has comma after three digits, if you notice. Right, so calculator already has your thousand, million, billion, trillion data, right? If you check on your calculator, you will find the comma on the top after every three digits. Anyway, so your variable cost per room day this will increase. There is an increase of rupees 524.24. That is, this is the revised variable cost 1424 minus earlier variable cost of 900. So this difference is 524.24. This is the variable cost going up. Now consequently, the break even point has gone up from 5,000. Earlier break even point we had calculated, if you remember, check this. Original BP was here, where it was here, 5,000 room days. This was the original BP. This BP has gone up from 5,000 to 5424. 5424 is visible in the graph as shown in the diagram. So BP is going up. Actually BP going up is that way not good, because you'll have to work harder to achieve the break-even point. It means NICCO is required to sell more room nights to recover the extra cost. That is correct. However, the budgeted occupancy is now 7,310. Budgeted occupancy is now 7,310 room nights, which is 80.11% occupancy. Now how this is calculated? See, earlier room days occupied were at 75% capacity. So this 6844 room days occupied we had calculated in the working, that was at 75%. So 7310 will be what percent? So 75 divided by 6844 into 7310. So your room capacity occupancy ratio has gone up. It has become 80.11%. This provides a margin of safety of 1885 occupied room nights. Margin of safety was available on the graph itself, that is 7310 minus 5425, or a margin of safety ratio of 25.79%. How we get margin of safety ratio? That is margin of safety room days divided by room days actually occupied, 7310, total room days occupied. So 1885 divided by 7310, you will get margin of safety ratio. Anyway, it was not asked, you just calculated. Now at 7310 occupied room nights, that is total room days occupied, NICCI's budgeted profit would be. So profit we can calculate at 7310 occupied room nights or room days as total contribution minus fixed cost. Now see how this total contribution is calculated. 7310 room days occupied into, this is your new sales price or revenue which we had calculated just above, where we had calculated here 3636.36, and your revised variable cost was this 1424.24. This difference is contribution per room day into 7310 room days, and minus your fixed cost is 12 million. Okay, if you do this calculation, this is the profit, 41,70,597. Now it is more than the present profit. Present profit we had calculated above. Present budgeted profit is 33,19,200. So it is higher. So the profit of NICCO will increase by Zealand dollar 8,51,397 if you take the difference in these two profit figures. Hence it is advisable for NICCO to go for the opening of an Italian restaurant, that is rustic chic restaurant. So instead of closing down for Q2, it is better to open the restaurant. That will help you to increase the profitability. So that was not a very difficult question, but I think you have to interpret the graph. This is from RTP, not from exam, but you should be able to interpret the graph. Now we go to question 10, last question of that RTP. Practical question, though it seems to be theoretical. Let us see. Balance scorecard. The question is on balance scorecard. B Steels is a leading manufacturer of flat and long products. This flat and long products are terms used in steel industry and have state-of-the-art plants. These plants manufacture value-added products covering entire steel value chain, right from coal mining to manufacturing pig iron, billets, HR coils, black pipe or GI pipe, cable tapes, etc. These are certain name of the products, conforming to international standards. This rock-solid foundation combined with non-stop upgradation and innovation has established the B Steels to surpass its goal constantly. Its vision and value for sustainable growth is balancing economic prosperity and social equality while caring for the planet. Very good. This planet, people, profit is triple bottom line words. It is preparing its balance scorecard for the year 2018-19. Okay. It has identified the following specific objectives for the 4 perspectives. You have to remember the name of 4 perspectives. And they have identified some following objectives. Objectives are improve post-sales services, increase gross margin, increase plant safety, improve employee morale, increase number of customers, increase customer retention, okay, then improve employee job satisfaction and increase profitability of core product lines. These are 8 objectives. B Steel has collected key performance indicators, KPIs, key performance indicators. These indicators will help you to measure whether you are able to achieve the objective or not. That is called KPI, key performance indicators, to measure progress towards achieving the specific objectives. The KPI and corresponding data collected for the year 2018-19 are as follows. So there some data is given. Key performance indicators like average replacement time in number of days. Goal was 2 days. Actually is 1.5 days average replacement time. So if replacement time is going down, it's good. Then gross margin growth percentage. Goal is 15%, actually 16%, that is again good. Number of customers. Goal was 15,000, actually is 15,600, that is again good. Number of plant accidents. Number of plant accidents should have been 0, but there are 2. This is not good. Number of accidents. Percentage of repeat customer 83%, but actually is 81, so this has again gone down. Actual performance is lower than repeat customer, should be more is good. Then core product line profit as a percentage of core product line sales. So profit as percentage of sales. Goal was 5%, but actually is 4.4, so it is lower, so not good. Employee turnover rate means turnover ratio, number of employees leaving divided by average number of employees. We used to call it as labor turnover ratio. Turnover ratio lower is better. Goal was 2%, but it is slightly higher, so it is not that good. An employee satisfaction rating 1-5, that is 1 to 5 scale, with 1 being the most satisfied. So 1 is best, 5 is not good. Okay, 1 being the most satisfied. So employee satisfaction rating goal was 1. 1 is good, please remember, best. 1.2 is not good. Okay. Now for preparation of balance scorecard report, the following format has been developed for preparation of balance scorecard. B Steel balance scorecard report for the year ended 31st March 2019. Okay, name of the perspectives they have already printed in the question. Financial perspective, customer perspective, internal business perspective, and learning and growth perspective. So perspectives are printed. You have to write the objectives against the perspective. You have to write KPI, goal, actual, and goal whether achieved or not, yes or no. Okay, required. What is the first question? There is one more question, it seems below. Okay, let us see the first question. First question is prepare a balance scorecard report using the above mentioned format. So format is already given. You have to just prepare a balance scorecard. Place objectives under the appropriate perspective heading in the report. Select a KPI from the list of KPIs. Okay, that would be appropriate to measure the progress towards each objective. Okay, my dear friends, it's almost the format is ready. You have to just put up the data. Means what? In this report format, you have to put the objectives. Objectives are given here. These are around 3, 3, 6, and 7, 8 objectives. 8 objectives are given. These objectives you have to put here. Where it has gone? Alright, these objectives you have to put in this column. Then KPIs, these KPIs you have to put here. You have to do only matching, right? Match the pair. For under which perspective, which objective should be written? Against which objective, which KPI should be written? Against the KPI, you will write this goal, ready-made copy paste. You will write this actual. And if your actual performance is better than the goal which you had set, then the goal is achieved, you will write yes. If you are unable to achieve the goal, you will write no. That's all. So all data given, only you have to collect it and put it in one report format. That is the answer of question 1. This is question 2 also, but we'll first check the answer of question 1. Let us check here. Though it's a little theory type of question, but you have to use the concept of balance scorecard. Financial perspective, like objective is increasing gross margin sales. Gross KPIs, gross margin growth percentage, 15, goal actual 16. So you are able to achieve the goal. Yes, your performance is better. Increase profitability of core product line, right? So KPI was core product line profit as a percentage of core product line sales, profit ratio to sales. Expected was 5%, but actually is lower. Profit lower is not good. So goal is achieved? No, and so on. Oh my God. So this is just a simple question of putting the data into a tabular format. Okay, if it such type of question comes in the exam, it's very good. So you can now read further instead of me reading it. What was the second question? B still desires to integrate sustainability and corporate social responsibility related KPIs in their balance scorecard to adhere to its vision and values. Advise B still using TBL. Okay, that is triple bottom line framework. So it's a theory question. You have to tell that how triple bottom line can be incorporated and how this is a little better than the balance scorecard. So I think that theory answer must be printed below. Yes, it's triple bottom line concept and so much theory is written. Please remember, theory answers won't match with institute's answer. No two students' answer will exactly match with the printed answer of the institute. So you have to write using your logic of balance scorecard and triple bottom line. That's all. Okay, so that this you will read. So I think friends will stop here today. Today was our lecture number 6. In the next lecture we will start from here. We will start with RTP for May 2020 exam. The exam which didn't took place due to COVID-19. But RTP was published by the institute. So next lecture will start from here. That is lecture number 7. Okay friends, I'll stop here for the day. Bye bye.